Hello, welcome to the shop today. What I have is a Bluebird plug-hole aerator, which I have fixed this piece of equipment in the past. The only issue is it got crunched by tree damage I had from Hurricane Helene this last month. Luckily, my insurance did provide me a personal property reimbursement on this unit to the tune of about $3,200. But the engine is still salvageable. I was able to get it up and running, so I'd like to take it off and potentially sell it or use it on another project. The way I came about this machine originally was through GovDeals, which is the military or government surplus auction. This whole unit I was able to win at auction for $250 locally, and then I put about $50 into fixing it up. The work that it needed done was I took this engine apart and I cleaned up my some of the timing components, and I got it running really well. And then when I got this running, one of the sprockets that drives the chain was worn down too much to engage the chain, so I also replaced that sprocket. So I'm going to take you through the process. We're just going to take it apart, see what we have, and I'll show you some tips and tricks of stuff that I learned while working on this Honda engine. This specific engine, it's a Honda GX120, supposedly a 4 horsepower. Very good engine, and we'll get into it. So this is actually the first Honda engine that I've had, and I was really impressed with it. In terms of small engine, I don't have too much equipment, 4-stroke equipment in this horsepower range. I've worked on a few pieces that were larger. A lot of 2-stroke equipment, or just bigger equipment, such as riding lawnmowers type equipment. We'll see if we can get this off. It's pretty bent up from the tree that hit it. As you can see, this whole front bar is basically bent forward a few inches. Okay. Luckily we were able to get that piece out. And just wanted to show, like, here's some bark from the tree. The specific tree that did this damage was a white oak, probably about 4 feet in diameter at the trunk. And it did a good bit of damage to my property, my house. Luckily I'm still able to live in it while seeking repair, but it has been a nightmare dealing with the insurance to get a resolution on that. Okay, so that cover didn't necessarily need to come off. I was mostly moving it because this is really bent up. And I think that's going to bolster my chances of getting this engine off. And then we might be able to salvage some of these other components, such as these sprockets. I don't think the pulleys would be extremely useful to me, but you never know what kind of projects will come up and what use you can find for some of that stuff. This gearbox would probably be useful for something in the future for sure. Okay. But priority number one is going to be to get this engine off of the frame. Yes, I have a good bit of debris in here. I'm trying to just get it in this garbage bucket. It's a tight fit. I may need to use a wrench. Wrench-wise, I'm using a combination wrench that has one of those 15-degree offsets, just because it's really tight on the other end there. So I'm thinking with the offset, that may assist me in accessibility. But right now it's looking like there's 4 bolts, through bolts, that connect this to the frame. I'm not sure if the other ends are captured or loose nuts. Okay, they're loose nuts. They're not like welded onto the frame or anything. Sometimes this equipment does have something that's captured, but you know, obviously that would make it easier. But I think we're going to have a lot more difficulty getting those back bolts out. That's going to take a substantial reach. Go with the old reach around. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. These bolts I'm saving just because you have a shop, you have to fill it with something. And in my case, it's junk hardware. And yeah, obviously you need tools. So yeah, I decided it was actually the first video I'm filming, but I'm not sure if it'll be the first one I release. But you know what? My inspiration for something like this is, you know, on YouTube I like to watch people like Diesel Creek, or another person I really like is the Musty one. And yeah, they do videos where they're just working on stuff like this, and kind of that longer format video. And I personally really enjoy watching those. So I figured it'd be, you know, I'm doing a lot of the same stuff. Just not on the as large of a scale. It's not my full-time job or anything. But I figured of activity other people can enjoy watching as much as I do. You know, I might be able to give you some content. I certainly don't have as much in the way of skill or experience. Alright, so this is what I was saying. These nuts here for these back bolts are quite a reach because this frame is in the way, so I'm reaching back down where the kind of those plug hole aerator tines come out. Luckily there's enough room to reach down there. but okay. Just got that bolt out. And then we got, I'm just gonna throw those on the ground. So find them later. We got one more. And then I think once that's out, that this Honda engine should be loosened up. And we just need to get that belt off of the drive gear assembly there. But yeah, this is actually the only thing I've ever bought from a government auction. Because most stuff on there seems to get bid up way more than it's worth to me, at least. Because, you know, you buy something like this for $150 with a bad engine. You know, what is the potential upside on it? Because you really bought it sight on scene. You know, while it was a local item, it wasn't really worth traveling all over the place to pick up smaller stuff like this. But, you know, what's your upside? If you buy this for $150, if it needs repowered, yeah, that's not too bad. You're looking at $150, $200 for some sort of engine, potentially from Harbor Freight, one of their Predator lineups. Well, that, you know, it's not going to be as nice as having a Honda engine on there. That's for sure. Okay, well, we got this loosened up. Okay, it came off pretty easy. So, I mean, if you did have to repower something like this, you know, you see you have 4 bolts. You know, your mounting bracket might not line up exactly, but, you know, it's 1/8-inch steel plate. It's easy to drill out, or you potentially have to weld something. You could weld a different mounting bracket and adjust your, you know, potentially a different belt size if you needed to accommodate this gearbox. So we'll take this gearbox off here in a few minutes and kind of get an idea what the drive shaft going into it looks like. Alright. I'm going to reposition us.